Yes. Yes. Sit right up front.
No, I'll take a picture against the white background so it'll show it.
Okay, let's get our way.
So I'll do it when I get home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I'll. Bye, Willie.
Yes, yes, yes.
Good night, thank you.
Bye, William.
All right, ladies, see you later.
For real.
No, Mike, 1 and 2. You got this?
Check, check.
Yeah, there you
All right. All right, here we go, y'all. All right, we live. Again, we want to thank everyone for tuning into the show. My name is Willie Hamilton, and of course, this is Real Talk. We have a special guest tonight, and right now it's open season when it comes to knowing your insurance coverage, what is best for you and your family. And he was at the Hungry Club, and I was a little bit disappointed because we thought it was going to be packed. This is so very important because too many times individuals do not know what type of coverage they have, the costs and things of that nature. And this individual can give you basically a breakdown of what will be best for your family and answer any questions. So if you want to call into the show, You can call into
402-681-4732.
And I see we have a guest tuned in the Periscope. So, if you would make sure you tell everyone else, and if you have a question, give us a holler back. Again, we want to give a couple of announcements out of the way, starting with first. Miss Donna Smith, who was just on the show, her son committed suicide, and next month is Suicide Prevention Month. So Ms. Donna Smith is our guest speaker at the December Hunger Club at Big Mama's Kitchen and Catering, sponsored by Black Men United and, of course, Big Mama. Donna has a radio show weekly on 1690 AM, Surviving Life's Tribulations. Her son committed suicide in 2011. She is a suicide prevention awareness advocate, has been a sports coach for 23 years, and has been the executive regional director for Hoop It Up for the last 9 years. And Nebraska had the biggest Hoop It Up in the country. So big ups to her and the work she's done for the last almost 10 years. She's going to talk about suicide awareness, what are the signs, and things of that nature. I think this is a timely topic, as suicide and depression tends to rise during the holidays. So please come out the first Wednesday of the month at Big Mama's Kitchen and Catering on the Turning Point campus and hear Donna's story regarding suicide awareness. My good friends at the Carpenters Union are in dire need. So if you're looking for employment, the Carpenters Union Local 427 here in Omaha is looking to hire 20 individuals who are experienced in metal framing and metal drywallers. Please email Mr. Juan Alvarado at ncsrcc.org or call 402-571-2561. Again, his name is Mr. Juan Alvarado at ncsrcc.org or call 402-571-2561. These positions will get filled fast. Trust me, believe, because they're paying anywhere up to $25 to $35 an hour. So if you're interested, do not delay in contacting Juan. Last but not least, my good friend, Mr. Philip Jackson, out of Chicago, Illinois. What's up, Scott? How you doing? Out of Chicago, Illinois, actually gave me some information about an incident that took place in 1989. And the incident took place in New York City, and it happened in the Central Park Mall. And they called them the Central Park Five. Anyway, Mr. Yusef Salam, who was one of the members of the Central Park Five, will share his thoughts a quarter century later. 25 years ago, in New York City, 5 black and Latino juvenile males were wrongfully convicted and then incarcerated on rape charges stemming from a brutal attack and rape of a white woman jogging in Central Park. The Central Park Five, as they became known, ended up serving their full sentences of between 5 and 13 years in prison. They were later exonerated after serial rapist Matias Reyes, already in prison, confessed to the charges supported by DNA evidence. I know people want to try to say, well, maybe he was wrong, but DNA don't lie. So Mr. Yusef Salam lives in New York City and is a family man, an educator, motivational speaker, poet, artist, and activist. And I want to thank UNO, Dr. Teresa McKetney, and all the staff, from James Freeman to BJ Reed, for partnering with Black Men United to actually bring this individual here. And by the way, they won $43 million was awarded to them by the state. And they're getting ready to sue the Fed for $43 million regarding what took place. So on December the 2nd, from 11 to 12:30, we're having two talks where University of Nebraska Omaha College of Public Affairs, the Community Service Collaborating Commons, room 132D. When? Again, December the 2nd, at the Barbara Weiss Community Engagement Center. So we're really excited about bringing this individual here, especially for the amount of money as an honorarium, because we probably won't be able to touch him next year. We're probably talking, anywhere between $20 and $25,000 to have him speak or to give a lecture. So we're excited that we have the opportunity to be able to bring this individual here and to learn more about this particular case. But more importantly, to understand that we have a flawed system and that sometimes they don't always get it right. So again, please come out, pass the word, and it's a free event. We wanted to make sure there was no cost involved with this particular event. So it's a free event, so come out and learn more about the Central Park 5 and what took place almost in 1989. Again, we want to thank our special guest tonight for coming out, and I really want to give him enough time to talk about what he does. And also, I got a host of questions that was emailed regarding what he does and how do you make a conscious decision regarding health insurance. So first of all, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you
for
for
coming
the
to the show.
opportunity.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. First of all, introduce yourself. Tell the folks what you do.
Okay, I am Paul Witkevich. I am the co-owner and managing partner of J. Keller Insurance Group. Open enrollment, as Willie mentioned, is right now. What that means to the community is anyone has any pre-existing conditions or in the need of assistance helping to pay for health insurance, this is the time we can apply. So we apply with no pre-existing, and the government, based upon income, family size, and your age, and the location in the state of Nebraska or Iowa, they will help pay for the plan, and that ends January 31st. So now is an ample time. Anything between now and December 15th, the plan starts January 1st, and that's kind of what we're looking for, to have the plan 2016 start.
Okay. Why don't you just give me, or the audience, or maybe a 10 or 15 minute spiel about what people may or may not know when we talk about insurance.
Okay. That's one thing that I specialize in, as well as my partner, Wayne Jertson, is the opportunity to educate people. A lot of times, no one knows what kind of plan they have until they go to use it. And unfortunately, that's not the time to find out what your insurance is about. There's deductibles, there's co-insurance, there's co-pays. It was confusing years ago, it's even more confusing now. The out-of-pockets, the higher cost of health care, it's unfortunate, but it is there now. Many groups where we used to get insurance through are no longer offering that. It's probably a better idea to get your own plan anyway. We tailor the plan to fit your family's needs. That's what's good about the healthcare reform plans. There's only 4 companies that we can choose from nowadays. Unfortunately, I believe when the government set up what they call open enrollment in the marketplace, they were assuming we'd have a lot more companies join what they call the marketplace. The marketplace is a website that we can go to look at the plans that are covered with no pre-existing. Now, if we don't take a plan, obviously this year, if there's individuals that didn't have a plan, there's penalties involved. It's 2% of your adjusted gross income for a penalty. And on the other side of the coin is, I may be better off paying that penalty, but you still don't have insurance. And that's a scary thought if something major happens to put yourself in a predicament where, well, bankruptcies. I mean, 84 to 86%, I believe, is what the amount is of people that file for bankruptcy is because it's medically related. We all have medical issues. So we don't want to see anyone file for bankruptcy, lose any car, house, no matter what it is. We worked hard for that. And that could happen nowadays. We want to avoid penalties. We want to get the best coverage. But we also want to understand what we have. Now, what I do is help with the enrollment, help with getting the subsidies as much as we can get from the government, tax credits or subsidies they're called, and then understand the plan that you have before you need to go to use it. And when my number is given out with my card, and I gave it earlier too, the 402-681-4732, that number is my personal cell phone number. I take calls on that all the time. We don't have issues from 8 to 4:30 or 9 to 5. The issues are 24 hours a day. Okay, so unless I'm sleeping, obviously, you can leave a message, but I will answer the phone and explain the plan.
Paul, quick question. You say you have a penalty of 2% of the gross, right?
Your gross income.
Gross income. Now, when I was coming up, if you was between the ages of 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, you really didn't worry about
No.
your insurance.
They still don't, neither did I.
Don't worry, because you think you're invincible.
Right.
So why do I do insurance? But, but now, you don't have that option.
No,
Now you have to.
right, it is the law.
So it's a mandate.
It's a mandated law. We must have insurance.
Must have insurance. Okay, now, okay, I'm gonna hold that question. Can I get dental care in
Sure.
this, in the marketplace?
In the marketplace, they don't have the dental care. They do for the pediatrics. Anyone under 19 or 18, I should say, you can get that included in your plan. Now, some of those plans are limited. Some companies don't have dental. So we can set up a separate dental plan, or we can include it in your healthcare plan. Now, I have many, many people, out of hundreds of clients that I have, that are paying no premiums based upon their income. The government also says not only will we subsidize your monthly premiums, we will also reduce your out-of-pocket expenses. They're called CSR plans, and that stands for Cost Savings Reduction. So if we were to purchase a plan now, they're mostly catastrophic plans. In other words, you may have a plan that you pay $1 to $50 a month, something like that, $100 a month. Well, when you go to use it, your out-of-pocket is $6,850 before anything kicks in. So what the government does is they say, not only will we help you pay your premium, in the many, many instances, they will also reduce that $6,800 down to as little as $1,200, sometimes $800. So they're saying, we can't just help you pay and then expect you to come up with $5,000 or $6,000. That's virtually, it might as well be $30,000.
Right.
So they reduce that, and that's a CSR plan,
CSR, and that's a cost saving
cost savings reduction.
reduction.
They also help pay for that too and reduce your out-of-pocket.
So, how do I start an application?
I would do the whole process, and this is what's good about what I do. There are a lot of times during open enrollment that you can go to a store, a clinic, a lot of facilities, libraries, and they have what's called navigators that will help you do the enrollment process. What we do is we take it a step further. We don't just need help enrolling, we need help ongoing support. What if this changes? What if my claim doesn't get paid? What if there's a change in my income from what I put in to get subsidies at the beginning of the year to the middle of the year? I lose a job, I gain a job, I start working part-time. Because what could happen is you could put in your income and have an increase of that income and not notify the government. And then at the end of the year, when you expect tax returns, that money's kept to offset any subsidies that were too much. So there's so much to this. I'm looking at you and you're saying, wow. There's more than just applying and saying, good, I have coverage. No. What kind of coverage do you have? And to maintain that coverage, you still could pay penalties at the end of the year because you put in the wrong income amount. So to have the support to have a broker working for you throughout the whole process and year after year, we may choose a plan that's going to be great for you in 2016. Will that be the best plan in 17? I don't know. Companies come and they go. There's 2 companies that are in the 2015 marketplace. They're gone for 16. So if one was to try to do this on their own and maintain that coverage year after year, it's impossible, if not extremely hard.
Now, let's go back. You said there was 4 companies in the market.
Right.
And you thought that more companies, and I guess the president and others.
I would think that they would.
They would have thought more companies. Why do you think that more companies are not in the market?
The risk that the companies are taking is pretty extreme. In other words, when you apply in open enrollment, we used to answer 20 questions when we would, in the past, as little as 2 years ago. When we applied for a health insurance plan, we would answer 20 questions about our health.
Right.
In the past 10 years, what have you done? Tell me what prescriptions you're on. When do you go to the doctor? What did your doctor say? When you apply during open enrollment, there's absolutely no health questions.
Yeah.
You could be pregnant right now. You could be a diabetic, you could have cancer. There's not one question. You put in your information that I will put in for you about your income, your age, and then I help you pick a plan based upon those needs. So the insurance companies have no idea who is getting this plan that starts January 1st. So the risk there that they're taking is extreme. You know, there's no questions, and I have many, many clients that healthcare reform has saved their lives because they could not afford it before. Once again, as little as 2.5 years ago, many clients would say, I'm a diabetic, or I have cancer right now, I've had a couple heart attacks 3 years ago. The insurance had the right to say, absolutely not. I'm very sorry for your situation, but we will not insure you. So they could not get insurance. Now I have those same clients that I had to say no to. They have coverage, they're getting the treatment that they need, and they're getting the support and the financial assistance.
You know, as I listen to you talk, it's almost like the insurance companies used to have a stacked debt.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Because they would say, hey, look, I would ask you 20 questions, and if these 20 questions, that's going to determine whether or not I'm going to invest in you.
They're going to determine or not whether you get insurance or what the price is going to be. Now the price is exactly the same. Now, healthcare reform is good for some, and it's bad for some.
Okay.
But it's very confusing for every single one.
Now, what would make it bad for some?
Income.
Okay.
If you have an income where you're not able to get a subsidized plan, in other words, your income is too high for the government assistance, the premiums that were what they were 2 or 3 years ago before healthcare reform started are almost double.
Would that be like the middle class, or are you talking about the poor?
The middle class.
So it would hurt
The middle class to the upper class, it's extremely helping the middle class and the lower class income. It's a great benefit. Those that could not afford it before can now get insurance.
What about the individuals below that, the poverty level?
The poverty level is still the same where they can apply for Medicaid. If they don't get Medicaid assistance, unfortunately, they won't get penalized, but I can't help them get insurance. So Medicaid has not been expanded in Nebraska.
Okay.
So the level for that is about $12,700 income for an individual, one person.
Right.
If there's less income than that, what they estimate next year is going to be, the government says, you can apply for Medicaid. And there's also a stipulation that says, unfortunately, Nebraska did not expand Medicaid. So will they get it? We don't know, but I'll help them in that process too. Now, if they get declined Medicaid, we can go back and possibly get them subsidies.
It would seem like the most people who would need, the people who would need it the most, those are the ones who's going to be left out of the
Right.
race.
Yeah, and that is true. Now, there are a lot of plans though too, or there are a lot of individuals that are doing all right. I mean, they're making the $14,000, $15,000, maybe $20,000 a year. Even the small groups that those individuals are working for, many times that group was offering insurance in the past. They're way better off as a group to stop doing that. Let the individual get the government assistance. It's better for the group, it's better for the individual. There's a lot more plans they can look at too. But you're right, there's a penalization for an individual that really does need the help.
What about part-time employees without health coverage?
Sure, it's all based upon income still. The only, and speaking of the income part and the group plans, if they have access to a group plan that that the government deems affordable, they cannot get a subsidized health plan.
Say that one more time.
I will. If they have access to a group plan, so they're working at a company where they're working over a minimum of 30 hours, and the company offers a group coverage, that's affordable to them.
Right.
They have to take that plan. Or they can't say, no, I don't want to take that plan because it's still $200 or $300 a month. So I'd rather get a subsidized plan from the government. The government will not subsidize if there's access to a group plan.
And I'm thinking about the VA. We was paying in a family plan about $700 a month.
Sure, that's extreme.
So,
That's a lot of money.
So we would not be able to go to this market and get a better deal because we got a plan that's already been offered by.
If it's offered by the group. Now, if it's not a large group, 50 or more, that's where I go and talk to the owner and say, listen, you may be better off not offering that group. It may be better for you and your employees. Now, the company may say, which has happened many times, well, we want to contribute, we want to help them in some way to maintain it. It's a good package for your benefit program, and that's fine. There's other ways you can assist them. There's a lot of plans that are the most affordable called HSAs. An HSA is called a health savings account insurance. So how can the company help their individuals for retention? I want to keep this employee, so I want to help them to say, hey, I'm going to contribute some way to your health care. They can contribute to the HSA. An HSA is opened up at your own bank. You tell your bank, I have a HSA, health savings account insurance, which means I pay for my prescriptions and doctor visits for the most part. But I have something catastrophic. So the government allows you to contribute to an HSA savings account that keeps accumulating over the years, that can be funded also by the employer. And it's tax deductible to the employer.
But this, I'm thinking about a 401k. I know they ain't similar, but employees do matching dollars.
Right.
With this HSA, do they do that as well?
They could, but the HSA would be used for doctor visits, co-pays, prescriptions, dental, if they don't have a dental plan. So it has to be used for medical expenses. Whereas the the IRAs or the other things, that's for a retirement plan.
Do you pay taxes on this money while you?
No,
You
no,
don't?
it's tax-free money. And in certain situations, as I mentioned, the employer can take tax deductions also in certain, depending on how their structure of their, if it's a C Corp, an S Corp, whichever structure they're in.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they can, and that money accumulates, unlike flex plans that you hear a lot with group plans, where, oh, you better use it, you'll see a lot of commercials on that saying, it's about time, if you have any money left in your flex plan, an HSA can keep accumulating
Can you roll it over every year?
every year, keeps accumulating, tax-free money.
Is it a limit?
No, well, there is a limit yearly
You
that you can do, I don't know the exact amounts, somewhere in the $3,000 for individual range.
Okay, so you got a yearly amount, which you can roll it over, and then if perpetual, you can go.
Right, but it has to be used for medical expenses. What that does is to say, if I purchase basically a catastrophic plan or a high deductible plan, that money helps that if I have to use that and I have a gallbladder surgery or a simple surgery, but it's yet $12,000 or $13,000, I have some money sitting there to help that.
How would this affect the taxes at the end of the year? Do you have to claim?
No, you do not claim that as adjusted gross income in your income.
Okay,
So it's a good idea to contribute as much as you can, but you don't want to overfund the HSA.
Okay.
Because it can only be used for medical expenses. So if you have an issue with the car or the house and you need that money, you pay a penalty on your own money to get that out.
Okay.
We don't want to get to that. We want to use it for medical expenses.
Okay, where can I find the 2016 marketplace plans and prices?
On the government website, which is healthcare.gov, there is a green box right on the middle of the left-hand side that says See 2016 Plans and Prices. It's a basic generalization to say, let me just see if I can qualify. And it puts in simple things. You put in your age, your zip code, and what you estimate your income is for next year. Now, unlike Medicaid, if you were to apply for Medicaid, they're going to ask you, what is your income right now? The qualified health plans that I'm talking about ask you to estimate what you may think next year is going to be.
And you better be pretty precise. with
You
that.
do, because if you do estimate it and you say, I'm going to estimate my income at 20,000, and then at the end of next year you show 25, well, the subsidies or the tax credits they pay for you every month, based upon 20,000, and then at the end of the year on your taxes you show 25, they're going to want some of that money back.
$5,000 difference.
And that's where I've seen many clients come in and say, I had this done, at a location that had a table set up, but they didn't tell me to adjust my income throughout the year, and my refund I was expecting was diminished by $700, $800, and people rely on those.
This is very.
Oh, sure, that's why I'm saying they need a broker like myself or an agent that is ongoing support.
Yes.
Someone to call. What if the government requests in 2 months income verification? What if they request citizenship for immigration status?
Wow.
And I've had many clients that had that happen to them. They mailed it in, but the government said we didn't get it, and in the middle of the year, they lose coverage. Right in the middle of the year.
One question came up was a couple of people went in and tried to use the site, and they forgot their username, password, or security questions. What happens when that takes place?
You can create a new one, but that does cause an issue where if you don't remember it. The one thing that you could do is if you actually created an application, every application is given an application ID number. So you can call the 800 number and ask them for the application ID for the year that you're looking for. Then, once again, you can contact me and I will help you find your application with that ID number. It's not the easiest way to do it. I couldn't really explain it, but if I had an ID number for this year or last year's, I can find your application, make adjustments, and help you.
Okay. How do I apply for the Medicaid or CHIP? And if people don't know, what is CHIP?
CHIPS is a combined health insurance plan for children's. There's a Medicaid qualifications, once again, for your actual income right now. The CHIPS has higher income. In other words, I can't qualify for Medicaid, but I can qualify because my income's a little bit too high for Medicaid, but I can go higher to qualify for the children's health care plan. Now, those are both government-run plans. There's no charge to the premiums and no charge out of pocket. How you would apply, if you go through the marketplace, or if you want my assistance, obviously, it'll tell you right there, you qualify for Medicaid. We have automatically contacted the Medicaid office in the state. They will be contacting the individual that applies, or the individual would be better off speeding up the process and contacting them and say, I just went on to healthcare.gov, I was declined, and they said I may be eligible. What do I need to do?
Now, I know last time a lot of folks was having problems even logging onto the website.
Oh, absolutely.
Has that changed?
It
now?
has changed drastically. The first year was very hard. We were given an extra additional 2 or 3 months, I believe, to apply. But since then, everything's running very good. But it's still complicated. That's why to have a broker, like I said, working for you is priceless. There's no charge to this. It's one thing we didn't mention at the beginning. There's no charge to me for me to do this. An agent that helps you is paid by the insurance company that you choose. So you always have the option to pick a certain company. Many clients of mine, many insurance companies that I work with, I don't want to mention who they are, but there's certain companies that may do your house and your car. They're no longer in the healthcare business. They're referring people to me. They're already calling me from those areas to say, we don't want anything to do with this. It's confusing. And year after year, it's changing. This is what we specialize in. I don't do vehicles. We don't do property and casualty. I have some brokers that I work with that I can forward on, but I specialize in healthcare reform. It's a big thing nowadays. I don't want to see people pay penalties.
You know, this really opens up a great opportunity to really cheat a lot of people, or put a lot of people in bad situations. And then when you use the word broker, you think, is a broker looking out for my best interest?
Right.
Paul, how are you different than most of the brokers out here?
The reason I mentioned broker is an agent most of the time works for one company. They're called captive agents. I sell insurance for one company. I will find you the best plan.
Okay.
We've found out in the past, a lot of people will say, is this the best plan in the state? Well, I don't know. I'm an agent for this company. I sell for this company.
Right.
A broker, I work for the individual, and I look at all the plans available.
Okay.
If I'm not appointed with that, which I'm appointed with everyone anyway, but if I wasn't, I would get appointed.
Mm-hmm.
So an agent works for one company, a broker looks at all the companies available. So you can always rest assured, year after year, I have the best plan available.
Okay.
It sounds like a scary thing, a broker, I gotta pay this broker, he's taking a part of this. No, that's not what I mean by that. A non-captive agent might be a better way to put it.
You know, one of the things I liked about your presentation at the Hunger Club was you actually have a vehicle that comes to where individuals is.
Right,
And the reason why I say that is this. In North Omaha, transportation is a huge issue.
absolutely, yes.
Getting quality insurance agents, getting quality food, getting quality service is an issue. So to be able to offer what you're offering, and I want you to talk more about this. First of all, what made you came up with it, and how do people learn more about how to get in touch with you to be able to have that particular bus or presentation done at that church, at that synagogue, whatever the case may be?
Right. What we did, my partner and I specialized for many years. We would work what we called the old-fashioned way. We would visit our clients at their house, and we did this for years. We come right to you, whether you're in the Omaha area. We went to Norfolk, Grand Island, Hastings, you name it. We would drive to you, sit in your kitchen like the old days, come home, rest assured you had the best plan year after year. What we found that, like, as you mentioned, that was a big benefit. There's just too much of a need for us now to be able to do that anymore. So what I brought to Big Mama's when I was there was what we call the mobile marketplace. The general agency I write for is OCI. All agents usually write for a general agency, which is a vast amount of agents. We get good support from them. They create a mobile marketplace to allow us to park that mobile marketplace with computers and offices inside that, as you mentioned, to church functions, to any other function that may be available, to enroll clients with ongoing support right at their location. There's no reason to come to an office. After open enrollment ends, I have much more time. After January 31st ends, there's time to come to anybody's house, and I'd be glad to do that at any time. But during this open enrollment, it's extremely busy. There's just no possible way to do any traveling. But it's a benefit to them to say, you can't make it to us, we'll come to you.
And I thought that was a really good idea to be able to have that type of vehicle to be able to come to where people are at.
Yes, and what that
Particularly
is an
my
RV. It's a brand-new RV, equipped, as I mentioned, with a couple of laptops and just a couple offices in there, so that they can come right there. They can leave church, and the actual application for an individual might take at the most 15 minutes. We're not talking to sit down, go over a whole schmeal and everything. We can always, and as I mentioned, my phone number is always available. If we go over a lot, which there is a lot, you know that. I mean, when you talk about, will they help me pay? How does a copay work? What is a deductible? It may not all sink in the same day. They're welcome to call anytime, because it's not going to. But the actual application to get set up for a plan that starts in January, 15 minutes, and that's it. Now, if there's children involved, it's going to take more time, based upon the family size.
And first of all, I want to thank Robert Wagner for bringing you to our side of town, if you will.
I want to thank Robert too, because that is how I first wanted to get into the community. When I heard Robert, and when I heard Robert on the news, one thing resonated, and we didn't talk about that, we can sometime, is the life insurance.
I was going to get to that.
That's exactly what I called him for, to say, listen, this is what I've seen this too much. I understand the life insurance, but I also know that I wanted to reach out to the community to say, I will help.
Back when I was coming up, my mom always took life insurance out for her kids. Always. That even though she didn't wish the worst, it's just that it's the financial stress on the
Right.
family when you lose someone like that.
Oh, sure.
It's huge. And I'm so tired of seeing on the news with people on the corner, hustling for dollars to bury someone,
Yeah.
when in actuality, you can have a plan for $9, $10
Right.
a month.
Right.
know.
And that's burial insurance as well as a little bit for someone else left over. Nobody wants to talk about that, but it's inevitable.
Right.
I mean, whether it's old age, whether it's an accident. I mean, I had a brother at 40 years old walking around the block on a beautiful April day
Right.
and sat and died on the corner.
Right.
So we don't know, but to be able to get something, as you mentioned, and same with Robert, for the price of a Happy Meal or a good dinner once a month, it's priceless to leave your family to make sure that they're taken care of.
And folks, we really do need to talk about how we start this conversation around death and dying, because it happens on such a regular basis. But we're really not talking about how do you be prepared, how do you prepare your family a loss of a loved one. And you can actually do this in a small way by just taking out life insurance and
Right.
burial insurance.
All right.
And you can call Paul at 402 681-4732, or you can go to www.jkellerins.com. Insurance plans for your business and family. So we want to keep this moving because, like I said, when we put it on Facebook, we had a lot of questions regarding insurance. Matter of fact, you probably will be getting a couple phone calls. Miss Gladys, Big Mama, she needs health insurance.
That brings up another point. Ongoing support means you can get child-only policies.
Right.
You can get adult policies. We handle Medicare policies. So once you find an agent that you like working with, that you're comfortable, I can take you through the whole process. You'll never have to worry about it again. Do I still have the best plan? I'm aging out. I'm going to be 65 next year. Not a worry.
Right.
But take care of that too.
Now, what about if you own a small business and you have employers, but you don't necessarily have a carrier for those employers? What happens then?
Right, and that's what I was mentioning earlier. Sometimes it is better, and for the most part, it may be better nowadays to allow them to get their own plan. You want to contribute something, maybe get them something, because a benefit package, same with the wages, is set up to retain those employees. It costs more to keep hiring new people. You want good people in, and then you want something to retain them.
Right.
You know, you want a good job. You want them to enjoy it, but you also want to provide them a package. That's when I can come in, and it's better also to let them create their own package, their own healthcare package. In other words, when you offer a group plan, you offer possibly 3 plans and that's it. But to fit the needs of the whole community, you need to create a package to where, here's a plan for my family, because a 23-year-old and his wife and 2 children need a different plan than a 65-year-old man or a 60-year-old woman.
Right.
So we need to create the package for that individual. The group plans are a little bit more expensive, but these plans, during open enrollment, when you can get them and get government assistance, there's absolutely no reason not to.
Suppose I wanted a group plan. And I needed coverage I wanted to start January 1st. What's my enrollment deadline?
For a group plan,
Yes.
December 15th,
Well,
on most. Now, there is one company we can sign up as late as the 30th of the month. So group plans do not. I mean, the individual plans up to December 15th this year will start January 1st. If we sign up December 16th, it doesn't start till February.
Okay.
Those are the individual plans on what they call the government marketplace.
Okay.
But the group plans can start as little as the next day.
Okay.
Most of the time, it's the 15th of the month prior, they will start the following month.
What information should I have before I start the marketplace application?
Social Security numbers would be beneficial when you actually apply. But the way to start is income.
Okay.
We have to think what's going to happen next year. If you work at a job for X amount of dollars, then that's easy to say, I'm planning on a 3% increase or a 5%, so I'm going to put that into my wages that I had for 15 or 14.
Okay.
A lot of individuals, self-employed. That's hard to say. What is next year?
Right.
Well, I cut grass or I push snow. That depends on the weather.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what it holds. So it gets kind of touchy on those situations. Working with me, I can explain all that and make adjustments. But so you're going to need to know your income, who needs to have the insurance, your ages, and obviously it's just basic common stuff that you're going to know.
Okay, now suppose I'm making $100,000 a year,
Mm-hmm.
and I put all that data on my application when I'm applying in the marketplace. But about 8 months in, I get terminated. I ain't got no job. How would that affect the end of the year when you talking about putting a 2% assessment or penalty, or I'm saying I'm gonna make 100,000, but I didn't make 100,000,
Right.
or I make over 100,000? How would it affect?
Right. That's when, even at the income when we know we're not going to qualify, which would be a family of 4 at 100,000, because a family of 4, anything over 97,000 for next year will not qualify for government subsidies. So why would I go through the marketplace when I know I'm not going to get any help? Just for that instance. I don't know what next year holds. What if I'm hurt for 3 months and that 100,000 drops to 85? Now I can qualify, but I never went through the marketplace. So you can't go back and say, well, I could have qualified, so I would like the government to pay me. Well, you can't.
Right.
You didn't go through there and initially apply. So I would always suggest going through that with some assistance to make sure that you can, if something happens, we don't know what next year holds. So you may qualify at that time. On the other hand, you may be too low right now, but next year you may be able to qualify. So once again, go through the application, get a username and a password. And that's the confusing part.
So it'd rather be safe than sorry, that's what you're saying?
It is. Better to be safe than sorry. Get help doing it. You can try it on your own. When you do try it on your own, you literally are on your own. If you have claims problems, if you need to make adjustments, I hope the individual has enough knowledge of the system to make those adjustments. If not, I will be glad to help.
What do I count as income?
Adjusted gross income, anything that you would put, line 37 of
Okay.
the state taxes, or the easy form is line 4. So you would include any income, you would include, other than Social Security, unless it's taxable, any taxable income basically is, I guess, would you, easy way to put it.
Who do I include in my household?
You cannot include, you can include your children, obviously. No one, if you're not married, you cannot include that person. You would include anyone that you would put on your taxes. In other words, you cannot insure your children also. So if you have an individual that does not claim their children on their taxes, they cannot get government subsidies for those children. So it has to be an individual that claims children or another, maybe you claim your parent, then you can get a plan for those too.
I didn't understand this. What is a self-employment ledger?
That's just a document that you would keep track of your income. So any taxable income would be a simple way to put, what do I want to put in there? But a self-employment ledger is, you need to keep track all the time, and I did this job for, $250 and did this one for that. It's basically getting paid by a check or cash that the government's gonna wanna know.
If I don't want to apply online, how can I apply? Because you got some of these elderly folks that
There-
won't go near a computer.
Right, there are paper applications. It's a time-consuming, it's gonna delay the process extremely. But once again, the mobile marketplace or call, a lot of applications I take are clients outside the Omaha area that I do over the phone. Just to get the ball rolling, get the application set up, then I meet with the client. And I always tell them, I will meet with you, because if it was me, I would not purchase I would not purchase insurance from somebody over the phone. I wanna know who this person
I
is.
want to see, I'm a visual.
Oh, I want to see it, I want to know what's happening, and we can go over that anytime.
What if I still need coverage for 2015?
Temporary policy would be the best way to go. A temporary policy, because 2015, we have 6 weeks left. There's nothing you can do right now other than a temporary policy, unless there's called the special enrollment period, which brings up another point we never even mentioned. Open enrollment is November 1st this year through January 31st. How can I get a plan in May, in April, or right now? There's 6 ways you can get it. They're called special enrollment periods. I lost a job that had group coverage. I got divorced or married. I had a baby. I moved into the state. And, oh my gosh, there's one more and I don't remember it. So I got divorced, married, had a baby, lost group coverage, moved into the state.
Lost job, divorce, married, had a baby, moved to the state. What's the last one?
And it escapes me right now, but maybe there is only 5.
So special enrollment periods. Okay.
Special enrollment period is a qualifying event that allows you to get a plan outside of open enrollment.
I know a young lady who's pregnant now, and I don't think she'll be able. No, she can't get what's called. So she's gonna definitely be looking for. I think that's Gladys, her granddaughter. Will I save money on health insurance if I go through the market?
Oh, absolutely. Now, the plans are not different on the marketplace or out. So in other words, if you qualify, your plan is exactly the same price than if you went outside. I'm sorry, if you don't qualify for government assistance. So even if you went through the marketplace, what that is a safety net, because we don't know what next year's income is. So if you don't qualify for a plan, you'd still want to purchase it through the marketplace.
Sure.
And you want to purchase it from the 4 companies that are on the marketplace. Okay, you can go and get an underwritten plan, which is one of the plans that we mentioned earlier in the show, where I answer 10 questions or 20 questions
Right,
about
right,
myself.
right.
I can still buy those. Unfortunately, the government says that's not a qualified health plan, and you will still pay penalties.
Now, Republicans are already saying, if they win, they're gonna repeal
Right.
Obamacare. What happens if that takes place?
Well,
To the market and the plan that you have?
this is obviously just my opinion, but one thing that couldn't happen is if they come in and say, we're repealing this, it's definitely not gonna happen in a month, 6 months, or even a year. It's a process.
Okay.
Now, on the other part of that, it's been tried to be repealed. It's already been in the Congress or the Senate 50 sometimes,
Right.
and it's never been repealed. Now, I guess, once again, this is my opinion. For someone to come in and say, all of you individuals that we were giving assistance for, with no pre-existing conditions, we're gonna take that away. You're back to saying, my health does not allow me to purchase a plan and get the treatment needed, we're taking that away. And we're gonna help you pay, some of your premiums are they're affordable now. You can feel comfortable that your family's protected, we're taking that away. And I'm not talking 500 or 600 people,
No, that's.
I'm talking tens of
Yeah.
thousands, if not millions of people.
So,
Could it happen? Sure.
question. Since Obama did this, has this benefited individuals?
Oh, many, many individuals. As I mentioned earlier, some did not benefit from it. Some premiums have close to doubled. Their out-of-pockets have close to doubled.
Right.
Now, some of those plans are grandfathered. In other words, if those individuals purchased a plan years ago, the insurance companies are allowing them to keep them. We realize this is a better plan for you, we're gonna let you keep that as long as you want. Now, the rates are going up on those, yes. But for many other clients of mine, and many other individuals throughout the state and the United States, great benefit. I can finally get something I'm comfortable, I can afford, and I don't have to say, that heart attack, that cancer, that diabetic situation I have doesn't allow me to get a plan. There's only so much the hospitals will do.
Right.
If you come in and say, I don't have insurance, and that's unfortunate. I mean, now they can say, good, and here's what we're gonna do for the treatment. It's,
So it's a good thing.
oh, I think it's a great thing. I've had many clients come in, I mean, as I mentioned before, literally in tears. To see me, I mean, when I did years ago and helped them get a plan, it literally saved their lives.
And I can honestly say, talking to you, my brother had hepatitis C
Hmm.
and had spread to his pancreas, and they had this pill, but it was $1,000.
Right.
It was $1,000.
Sure.
A pill, but it actually cured his hepatitis C. If he had not, because it had took about 70% of his function of his kidney.
Right.
But because of the insurance, he was able to get onto this new revolutionary type treatment, able to start taking this pill, $1,000 a pill, and had to take it for 6 months. And now he has no signs of hepatitis C whatsoever.
Right. It's,
So-
it's remarkable.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the best things, that, in my opinion, that's happened to healthcare. Years ago when healthcare started, there was no underwriting process where you would ask a bunch of questions. You just got health insurance.
Mhm.
But no, I think it's a great thing. We do have an article, a really good one, in the Midlands Business Journal, if anyone has that, or gets that delivered to the small businesses. It's a really good article in there too that I just had put in.
So yeah, if you send that to me, I will definitely post that to my
Oh,
Facebook.
I'd love that, yeah.
Okay, so, do I have to pay a penalty if I don't have, well, I guess you just answered that. Do I have to pay a penalty if I don't have health insurance?
Yes. Now, there are, if you qualify for Medicaid, and Medicaid's not available because it wasn't expanded, maybe there's no money there, maybe they don't, you are borderline where you don't, you are allowed an exemption, where the government says, okay, you can't get Medicaid, you can't get regular health insurance, and we won't penalize you. It's a small portion, but that's still unfortunate because I still don't have insurance.
Insurance.
And in your situation as your brothers, what do I do? I would sure like to get some treatment for my ailments, but I can't. I can't get Medicaid, I can't get anything. We want to help with something.
But that's only gonna probably be a small.
It's a very small portion, but it has happened.
Okay, is there anything that we may have, what are cost sharing reductions and how can this affect my plan choice?
Right. Once again, the cost sharing reductions, the closer the income is to the poverty level, the more cost saving reductions that you have. So the poverty level right now, I believe for income for next year is right around 12,700 for one individual. So basically at $13,000, there is 400% cost sharing reduction. So they take that out-of-pocket maximum of 6,800 and reduce that as much as possible, which is right around $1,200.
Okay.
That's the 400%. So it's 1/4 of what it would be for your out-of-pocket expenses. The cost sharing reduction is a great thing. Not only are the premiums paid or help paid, they will also reduce it when you go to use it.
But like I said, I'm sitting here, and this is very complicated.
It's extremely complicated. We've just touched the surface and it's very complicated. This is why I don't want individuals to say, if I go on there, how do I do this? You know what? You can try it, play with it, check it out. But when you're seriously about it, wanting to apply, call someone. If it's not me, just call someone that you can trust and want some help from and get the proper help.
But it seems like it's not that many people that has
There's
the
not.
has the expertise, and you don't have the insurance companies like you thought you would have had.
Right.
So it's not like you can just look in the book or
No.
call them and say, hey Jan, I need someone to call regarding this, because there's not
No.
too many people out here that are very educated about what is taking place, all the different rules and regulations. I'm saying the federal government, the rules and regulations change like
And they do,
crazy.
and they change. And that's why year after year, many of the agents out there are saying, there's too many regulations, this is changing all the time, we can't keep up on it, we're trying to do other things. We specialize in this. I personally, I wouldn't specialize in this if I didn't think this was one of the best things to happen to healthcare. So,
Maybe that's the one that's calling in.
that's a client, I apologize.
Oh, no problem. Again, it's so important that we educate ourselves about what is happening in the marketplace when it comes to insurance. This is just a tip of the iceberg, and my head is just swimming regarding how much I don't know
Right,
when it comes to this type of information, that I would need someone like you
right.
to be able to walk me through.
And it
what
is,
is
it's
best for my
very, very
family.
confusing. And it's gonna be where you need the ongoing support. I soaked up as much as I could tonight, but in a week, you're gonna say, how about this, or what happens here? You need someone to be able to call all the time.
What will you and your office be doing to really get in the North and South Omaha, to really educate people about this? I know you got your vehicle where you go and you go to churches and things of that nature. What other things will you be doing? Because we got to get this information out.
Right. When I first talked to Robert, I think it was 2 or 3 months ago, we had an event at one of the churches, and I brought a game truck in for the kids. What a game truck was is basically a big, almost a tractor trailer that opened up, and Robert would know better, but I think it had maybe 8 to 10 big screen TVs.
I saw the game truck. Yeah.
And we were amazed when we opened up the doors. I think Robert counted 48 or 50 some children just jam-packed in these things, and we had to extend it. It was just a wonderful event.
Right.
Now, that was just a start. We don't know. I mean, we were doing that, that was for Native American Days, I believe.
Native American Days? Okay.
It
And-
was during the
and-
same time. There was a lot going on.
Like I said, because Native American Days, or Omaha Days, you have 20,000 people though.
Right.
Yeah,
So
20,000 people.
any kind of functions, I would be glad to speak at churches, to come to churches, to go over this, maybe more in depth, maybe to sit. the mobile marketplace is a great thing. What if there's church functions that I can't get the mobile? We can work it out.
You know, as I'm sitting here thinking, we do an event called No Murders in May. And what it is an event where we bring mothers, grandmothers who lost a loved one due to violence. And we've been holding it for the last 3 years up at Goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have anywhere between 300 and 400 people there. So we got so big, we won't have it at Goodwill this year. We probably have it down at the Hilton. But we do a lot of venues where you'll be able to get an opportunity to get a lot of
welcome the
people. 'Cause
opportunity.
like I said, no charge, no nothing. We just want to be able to give you a venue to be able to educate people about the importance of getting insurance, right?
Right.
Whether it be life or whether it be health,
And
you know,
it's
whether it be burial
complicated.
insurance. But get someone that, first of all, you can trust, that you can build a relationship with, that not only you, your grandkids, and so
On and on.
will have a relationship with that person. And that's something that is missing. Back in the day, my insurance person would always come to my mom's house.
Right.
I always sit at the table.
Remember those days? That's why I did that. Who's that guy at the kitchen table when I was a kid?
The insurance
Oh,
guy.
that's the insurance guy.
That's the insurance
That's
guy.
what we want to pride ourselves in.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I mean, you mentioned it. You have to be able to trust that person and
Yes.
say, I want to meet this person.
Right.
You may meet with me 3 or 4 times to say, you know what, he truly is here to help.
Right.
And I guarantee you'll get that feeling because that's what we're here for.
Again, folks, we do apologize. I know we had a couple of people came in and had asked a couple of questions, but this will be archived, and we will be bringing it and putting it on Facebook, on our Twitter account, also on our website. This is so needed. So when Robert told me about it, I said, "What can I do?" And he said, "If you can, get him to the Hungry Club." So we got him into the Hungry Club. Matter of fact, Big Mama, they said, "Look, we have to bring you back because
That's wonderful. I love
because
that.
we usually have about 70, 80 people, and for whatever reason, there was a lot of things going on. So we want to make sure we take that opportunity to bring you back
Oh, I'd be glad
and
to.
really educate North Omaha about the importance of open season and educate themselves about what is the best plan
Right.
for their family.
Be glad
Again,
to.
what, if anything, have we missed? And could you give your website or could you give your Facebook page if people want to learn more about?
Oh, yes, website. You mentioned it earlier, www.jkellerinsurance.com. That gives you a good insight. Who are these people? Where did they come from? My partner and I. How did they originate? It talks about how we were actual captive agents. And it was beneficial for us and the insurance company we worked for. But was it the best for all the clients to say, no, it wasn't? Because we would help them with the plan that we had available. We needed to have all the plans available, and that's when we broke off and said, we're gonna start working for the client and not ourselves. Healthcare has changed completely in 2.5 years, for the better. Facebook page is the same, J. Keller Insurance. Welcome anyone. Phone calls, emails.
Again, 402-681-4732. We will have a link on our Facebook page as well to Paul. So you can go to www.blackmenunited.org or you can go to just Facebook, Willie J. Hamilton, and that'll bring us up as well. Folks, we really do need to educate ourselves about what is actually taking place in the new marketplace when it comes to Obamacare and how we can get the best coverage for our family. So, is there anything we may have missed? Anything you want to?
I don't think so. It was a lot to cover in a short period, and I know that's a lot to soak in, but I think we covered the most part, and I hope I can certainly take the opportunity to help some people.
But then, okay, then we're going to take a break and then we're going to come back in a few minutes. Again, Paul, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you,
on.
Willie, for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Okay, then, Paul, I am going to call this other guy in,
Wonderful.
and then we're ready to go.
I appreciate it very much. Thank
Again, you
you.
can go to the website later on tonight, and you can see the whole show.
And what's the website again? Can I write that down so I don't? Yeah, I want to see the whole show, and my wife doesn't.
Just go to 1690am1.com.
Perfect.
All right?
Thank you again.
Thank you.
I look forward to it.
All
Take
right.
care.
You too. All right, folks. That, again, Mr. Paul from J. Keller Insurance Group, 402-681-4732. Again, so much information. I wouldn't even think for a minute of trying to do this on my own. I would want someone to be able to mentor me, walk me through the process of how it would be best to get the necessary coverage. Again, Mr. Paul Wojciechowski, at Paul at J. Keller Insurance, that's jkellerins.com, 402-681-4732. Again, hi, Sin, how you doing? Again, folks, hope you tune into the show. My name is Willie Hamilton, and of course, this is Real Talk. Go through a couple of announcements again. Folks, if you have not heard about the Central Park 5, we are actually bringing the Central Park 5 to Omaha, Nebraska. Yusef Salam is one of the members of the Central Park 5. Will share his thoughts a quarter century later. 25 years ago in New York City, 5 blacks and a Latino juvenile male was wrongfully convicted and then incarcerated on rape charges stemming from a brutal attack and rape of a white woman jogging in Central Park. The Central Park 5, as they became known, ended up serving their full sentences of between 5 and 13 years in prison. They were later exonerated after serial rapist Matias Reyes, already in prison, confessed to the charges supported by the DNA evidence. Mr. Yusef Salam lives in New York City and is a family man, an educator, motivational speaker, poet, artist, and activist. So he will be in Omaha, Nebraska, December the 2nd at the University of Nebraska College of Public Affairs and Community Service, Collaborating Commons 132. Am I talking about you? I don't think so. Again, December 2nd, Barbara White's Community Engagement Center. Really looking forward to interesting dialogue with Mr. Yusef Salam. Also, Ms. Donna Smith. Ms. Donna Smith is our guest speaker at the December Huggy Club at Big Mama's Kitchen and Catering, sponsored by Black Men United and Big Mama's Kitchen. Donna has a radio show weekly right here on 1690 AM, Surviving Life's Tribulations. Her son committed suicide in 2011. She's a suicide prevention awareness advocate. She has been a sports coach for 23 years and has been the executive regional director for Hoop It Up for the last 9 years. She's going to talk about suicide awareness. So we're really looking forward to bringing Ms. Donna Smith. Donna Smith, I think this is a timely topic as suicide and depression tends to rise during the holidays. Again, on the first Wednesday of the month, Donna will be here to talk about suicide prevention. So again, thank you so much. Also, I don't know if you're aware, there was an incident that took place today at Omaha Public Schools where I think it was at Mars Middle School, if I'm not mistaken, there was a 13-year-old, I'm gonna check my notes. There was a 13-year-old. Morris Middle School, there was a 13-year-old was struck by a chair that was thrown by a teacher allegedly. I want to talk about that particular piece. And also I want to talk about the Islamic Center of Omaha was vandalized today with the Paris image, says Mohammed Rashid. There has been a rash of hate crimes taking place in the state of Nebraska and the city of Omaha. So if you have a minute and you would like to tune into the show or call in, you can call in to 402-965-1003. If you have any thoughts regarding some of the things that was discussed tonight. Again, I really want to talk about the incident that took place at Morris Middle School, and also your thoughts regarding the rash of hate crimes taking place in the city of Omaha and the state of Nebraska. But before I get into that, I want to talk about something that's been discussed on Facebook. I'm in really trying to stay out of it, but as an African American man, I guess I just can't. But after the brutal assault in Paris, there was so much outcry, and rightfully so, regarding this horrendous crime and the loss of life. But just 3 weeks prior to that, in Kenya, there was the same type of incident that took place, but yet not the outrage as what took place with in Paris. And there's a whole bunch of discussion regarding race, regarding Black Lives Matter, and comparing this incident with each other, and why so many people are disappointed that the same outrage that was shown with Paris was not shown with the incident in Kenya. And as the discussion followed, a lot of people were saying, why are you comparing this to race, that this should be about the human race? And I say this to that. I agree. It should be about the human race. But until the world sees me as a human and not as a black man, that conversation is moot. Because the world don't see me as a man, they see me as a black man. And all the barriers and all the negatives that come along with that. So what I'm trying to say is, until the world is colorblind, until the world treat lives, whether you black, blue, or brown, the same, we're going to be engaged in this same conversation. And I'll leave that as it is. The incident with the teacher, and there's been a lot of talk about this on Facebook, about the teacher should be fired, that the children are out of control. What did that child do to make that teacher lose his control, if you will. And I want to see how this all gonna play out, because now they're saying that this individual has a problem with anger, and there's incident in the past where parents have went to the administration and informed them about this teacher, and nothing was done. I think when an adult loses his cool like that, that sends such a bad message. Because if adults can't keep control, how do we expect our children to? So I'd like to get some feedback from you guys. What do you thought about the incident that took place at Omaha Public Schools, at Mars Middle School to be exact? Give us a call here at 402-965-1003. I'd like to see your input, if you don't mind. Also, have you seen a rise in hate crimes in Nebraska? If so, give us a holler here as well, so we can talk about that also. I would love for everyone to see me as a man and not as a black man. But until that happens, we're still going to be engaged in this conversation about race. And sooner or later, we're going to have to deal with race in this country, which I don't think we ever have. So give me a call here at 402-965-1003 with any comments. Also, I want to thank a big shout out to Mr. Dale Gines and the Black Men United Urban Pre-Vocational Training Program that was kicked off last week. And we want to let anyone know that if you want to participate in the program, you still can participate in the program. You can give us a call at the Black Men United office at 402-965-1003. And the program is called Intro to the Trades. Again, we believe that it's a game changer, and we want to thank the mayor of Omaha for supporting the program. Intro to the Trades training. Again, you can sign up until next week. Intro to the Trades is a 4-week-long Saturday class that will help you gain key skills to be employed in the construction field. What this course will do for you is give you the basic skills to prepare for you for entry-level construction work. They'll teach you key skills to get and keep a job, support you with your job search efforts, and connect you to the potential employers. Give you hands-on training with a short internship, provide you with a certificate of completion and a letter of recommendation for your resume. This course consists of the following: basic construction, math and measurement, CPR certification, interviewing skills and strategies, dealing with workplace frustrations, job search strategies, one-on-one support, and more. To cap off the program and receive a certificate of completion, a student must complete a 10-hour arranged internship at a local construction or vocational company in Omaha. This program is targeted to individuals from the age of 18 to 25. However, if you are older and are interested, exceptions can be made. Classes begin November the 14th. If there are any questions, please contact me at 402-965-1003. That was a national article. In the Washington Post on October the 29th, 2015. It was by Ms. Sarah Horowitz, Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, the Justice Department second highest ranking official, Thursday said that the federal prison most successful education and reentry program has dramatically shrunk in the recent years, leaving more than 10,000 inmates on a waiting list for prison jobs and educational training. The Justice Department's second highest ranking official Thursday said that the federal prison most successful education and reentry program, I'm reading the same thing, on the eve of the early release of thousands of federal inmates back to their homes, Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates said that the Bureau of Prisons vocational education program, known as the Federal Prison Industries, have been reduced to half of the size it was 10 years ago. The program gives inmates the opportunity to build products such as furniture and electronics while also earning money to pay court-ordered obligations. He said, Manpower Group annual talent shortage survey reveals U.S. employers suffer largest talent shortage in the skilled trades. It said 10 years of survey reveals 1 in 3 U.S. employers experience difficulty filling positions, skilled trades, and remains the hardest to fill for 6 consecutive years. For the 6th consecutive year, skilled trade vacancies are the hardest to fill in the U.S., and for the 4th consecutive year, skilled trade roles are the hardest to fill globally. Also on the list of hardest to fill jobs in the U.S. are drivers and teachers. When asked why are they struggling to fill certain jobs, employees cite a lack of applicants, 33%, lack of experience, 19%, and the lack of technical competencies or hard skills, 17%. Technical competencies employees seek include industry-specific professional qualifications, 7%, and trade certifications, 7%. We intend to fill that need. They say among U.S. employees, 48% acknowledge that talent shortages have a medium to high impact on their businesses, but few are putting talent strategies in place to address the problem. 1 in 5 U.S. employers are still not pursuing strategies to overcome talent shortages, despite the negative impact on their businesses. This is up from 12 months ago when 13% of the U.S. employers reported they were not pursuing strategies to overcome talent shortages. If you're going to deal with North Omaha, then you have to deal with people who know North Omaha and know its people and its community. I think that's what they're saying. And to be able to come up with strategies how you go after those individuals. Talent shortages are real and are not going away, said Kip Wright, Senior Vice President of the Manpower North America. Despite impacts to competitiveness and productivity, our research shows fewer employees are trying to solve the problem through better talent strategies. As the struggle to find the right talent continues and candidates with in-demand skills get the upper hand, employers will be under pressure to position themselves as talent destination to attract the best workers that will drive the business forward. For the 6th consecutive year, skilled trade vacancies are the hardest to fill in the U.S., and for the 4th consecutive year, skilled trade roles are the hardest to fill globally. Again, we believe that we'll be able to fill that need with our Black Being United Urban Pre-Vocational Training Program. Again, if you know of an individual between the ages of 18 and 25 who would like to participate in our program, please give them a call. Have them call us at 402-965-1003 or email me at will@blackmenunited.org. Again, there is 20 positions that are available. Mr. Juan Alvarado, one of our partners with the Carpenters Union, I will give that information one more time. Also, this information will be available on our website. And just give me a minute. Again, employment opportunity, Carpenters Union Local 427 here in Omaha is looking to hire 20 persons who are experienced in metal framers and metal drywallers. Please email or contact Juan Alvarado at that's JUANALVARADO at NCSRCC.org, or you can call him at 402-571-2561. These positions will get filled fast. If you're interested, do not delay in contacting Juan Alvarado at 402-571-2561. I wanted to read this. And it's regarding the leadership conference. There's an organization, a national organization, that's working in the area of prison reform, citizen reform, and they're working on this new act. It's called the Sentencing Reform and Correction Act of 2015. Basically, the ill-conceived war on drugs that began more than 30 years ago has resulted in a system that is unjustly biased. From arrest to release, Africans, Americans, Latinos, and low-income individuals are disproportionately overrepresented throughout the system. Today, due in large part to so-called tough-on-crime policies, which was truly a war on black men, policies and mandatory minimum sentencing, the United States incorporates more people and a higher percentage of its population than any country in the world. And that's why now we have a unique opportunity under the Our Brother's Keeper and other federal programs to be able to help bridge the gap between those individuals coming out of the criminal justice system and coming into the community. So on October the 1st, 2015, a bipartisan group of senators introduced S2123. S2123. And the Sentencing Reform and Correction Act of 2015, a major criminal justice reform package aimed at reducing some mandatory minimum sentencing for nonviolent drug offenders and curbing recidivism. It is the most significant federal legislative initiative on criminal justice reform since the passage of the Fair Sentencing Act of 2010, which the new bill would make retroactive. We all know someone in our family that have been caught up on the war on drugs or the war on black men and the crack versus powder fiasco. But here's an opportunity to be able to help a relative, a friend, or whatever the case may be, get that sentence reduced through education and the passage of this Sentencing Reform and Correction Act of 2015. The bill would also reform enhanced mandatory minimums for people with prior drug convictions, broaden the existing safety valve, and create a second safety valve, reform enhanced mandatory minimums and sentences for firearm offenses, create a new mandatory minimum for interstate domestic violence and certain exports control violations. Again, folks, provide mechanism for prison reform. The bill requires the Department of Justice to conduct a risk assessment, address treatment of youth in the federal system. So contact your senator, tell your senators to vote for the Sentencing Reform and Correction Act of 2015, S. 2123, S. 2123. You can call Senator Deb Fisher at 202-224-6551, or you can email her at www.fisher.senate.gov. Or you can contact Republican Senator Ben Sass at 202-224-4224. And he can be reached via email at www.sash.gov. This bill has the status introduced, and here are the steps for the status of the legislation. First status, of course, is the introduction, and then, of course, it goes to the Senate, then to the House, and then to the President, and then it becomes law. So, for the first time that I've known of is that we have folks from across the aisle, Republicans and Democrats alike, looking at how do we reform the criminal justice system as it is now. So make sure you contact your senator regarding the Sentencing Reform and Correction Act of 2015, S. 2123. I said all that to say this. We are proud to announce that we're working with Michelle Alexander and local folks to bring what we believe is the first ever conference on mass incarceration best practices. What is actually working to reduce recidivism around the country? And the Black Star Project, along with Ms. LaShonda Etheridge Bay, who are working out of Washington, D.C., out of the mayor's office in the reentry, Mr. Yango Sawyer, and with local folks, friends and families of inmates, UNO, Criminal Justice Department, Black Men United, Appleseed, Metro Community College, are working and putting together a planning committee to put on the conference next year, late 2016, right here in Omaha, Nebraska. So we're really excited in putting on the first ever conference around best practices, and also to have workshops around mental health illness, around child support, around policy, and things of that nature. So it's a great opportunity to have, again, the first ever conference here in Omaha, Nebraska, right here in the state of Nebraska, if you will, and in the city of Omaha, to have this conference take place, along with my partners of the Black Star Project, UNO, and many others. So if you would like to take part in the conference, or maybe you have a workshop that you want to put on as well, please give me a call at 402-965-1003, or email me at 402, or email me at will@blackmenunited.org. I do apologize. Again, folks, we are excited to put on this conference and partner with so many folks from around the country who are willing to come here to Omaha, Nebraska, and take part in this conference around best practices. So if you would like to, again, take part in it or be on the listserv, please contact me at will@blackbeanunited.org or 402-965-1003. Okay, folks. About 8:34. Get a couple of announcements, and then we're gonna call it a night. But before I forget, Mr. Robert Wagner is doing some his I think his fourth year with the tour track. The tour track, and you can go to Facebook, Project Knows, or projectknows@gmail.com, or you can call Robert at 402-812-6840 to kick off the fourth annual tour track taking place on December the 19th at the 104th and Center Street. He actually walks 17 miles to down to, I think, Lionel's, where he has about 20 different designated locations where toys are being dropped off, and he basically stops in, pick up the toys, and then goes on his merry way. So if you want to donate to his organization and the fourth annual tour track, you can give Robert a call at 402-812-6540, or you could email him at projectknows@gmail.com, or you can go on Facebook and hit him up on Facebook at Project Knows as well. Again, my name is Willie Hamilton. I am the Executive Director of Black Men United. We are located at 4200 North 30th Street, P.O. Box 6627. Office number is 402-614-6472. The cell number again is 402-965-1003. Always hit us on email, will@blackmenunited.org, or go to www.blackmenunited.org, our website, or you can hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest. Again, our mission and purpose, we are a grassroots organization that does advocacy. We protect and economic development bills, work that focuses on black men of all ages in the Omaha community. Black Men United is dedicated to supporting the growth and the development of black men, their families, and the communities from where they live, work, and play. So, folks, hopefully you learned some things about the open season. Hopefully you learned some things about Black Men United. Again, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to our show. And if you want to get involved, you want to become a volunteer, again, you can go to our website at www.blackmenunited.org to learn more. I think that's about it, folks. Again, don't forget, December the 2nd, save the date. Yusef Salam, one member of the Central Park Five, will share his thoughts a quarter century later. 25 years ago in New York City, 5 black and Latino juvenile males was wrongfully convicted and then incarcerated on rape charges stemming from a brutal attack and a rape of a white woman jogging in Central Park. The Central Park Five, as they became known, ended up serving their full sentencing of 5 and 13 years in prison. They were later exonerated after serial rapist Matias Reyes, already in prison, confessed to the charges supported by the DNA evidence. Mr. Yusef Salam lives in New York City and is a family man, an educator, motivational speaker, poet, artist, and activist. So please join us. And again, I want to thank Ms. Dr. Teresa McKetney. I want to thank Mr. James Freeman. I want to thank all. I want to thank the College of Public Affairs and Community Service, the Dean's Office, Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity Committee, Senior Vice Chancellor's Office, Nebraska Center for Justice Research, the Office of Multicultural Affairs, the Grace Abbott School of Social Work, the North Omaha Chess Academy, and Miss Melanie Smotherman Smith for supporting this particular project. Also, Splash Magazine, which is located down on 4200 North 30th Street. So again, we want to thank the North Omaha Chess Academy and Splash Magazine for supporting us, along with, of course, the College of Public Affairs and Community Service, the Dean's Office, Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity Committee, the Senior Vice Chancellor's Office, Nebraska Center for Justice Research, the Office of Multicultural Affairs, Grace Abbott School of Social Work, Splash Magazine, and of course the North Omaha Chess Academy. We're just about done for the night. We have Miss Felicia Webster and her host coming on in a few minutes. So we're going to go ahead and close it down for the night. If you would like to become a guest, please drop me a line or give me a call. Again, if you would like to become a guest on Real Talk or would like to become a guest at Big Mama's Kitchen and Catering, again, give us a call at 402-965-1003. I want to close by reading this letter that I read a lot. And it's basically an open letter to Black America. It's almost a cynical letter in a sense, but until we find a way to be able to put our differences aside and work for the better good of our people, we can never move forward. So I'm going to skip some of the parts of this letter, but hopefully you'll get a gist of what this letter is actually saying and what is needed. Went to the Million Man March, 20th anniversary. I am not celebrating Christmas. I'm going to be Christ-like, but I will not be celebrating Christmas. I will be of service during Thanksgiving and Christmas. But anyway, it's called Afrocentric News. Actually did the letter. And it's an open letter to Black America. And it says, Dear Black Americans, after all these years and all we have done through together, we think it's appropriate for us to show our gratitude for all you have done for us. We have chastised you, criticized you, punished you, and in some cases even apologized to you. But we have never formally nor publicly thanked you for your never-ending allegiance and support to our cause. This is our open letter of thanks to a unique people, a forgiving people, a steadfast people, a brave people, Black Americans. We'll always be in debt to you for your labor. You built this country and were responsible for the great wealth we still enjoy today. Upon your backs, laden with the stripes we sometimes had to apply for your disciplinary reasons, you carried out our nation. We thank you for that. We thank you for your diligence and tenacity, even when we refused to allow you to even walk in our shadows or follow close behind, believing that someday we would come to accept you and treat you like men and women. Your strength in this face of adversity cannot be understated. You are truly a great people. We thank you so much. We publicly acknowledge Black people for raising our children, attending to our sick, and preparing our meals while we were occupied with the trappings of the good life. Even during the times we found pleasure in your women and enjoyment in seeing one of you men lynched, maimed, and burned, some of you continue to watch over us and our belongings. We simply cannot thank you enough. Your bravery on the battlefield, despite being classified as 3/5 of a man, was and still is outstanding. and beyond your call of duty. We often watch in awe as you went about your prescribed chores and assignments, sometimes labored in the hot sun for 12 hours to assist us in realizing our dream of wealth and good fortune. You were always there, and we thank you. Now that we control at least 90% of all your resources and wealth of the nation, we have black people to thank the most. You were there when we all began, and you are still with us today, protecting us from those black people who have the temerity to speak out against our past transgressions. How can we thank you for your dedication? You warned us about Denmark Vesey. You let us know about Gabrielle Prosser, and you called our attention to Nat Turner. Now, as we look out upon our enormous wealth, and as we assess our tremendous control of the resources of this country, we can only think of the sacrifices you and your families made to make all of this possible. You are indeed fantastic, and we will forever be in your debt. You think of how you have looked out for us for hundreds of years, and to see you still doing the same thing today is simply amazing. Thank you for continuing to bring 95% of what you earn to our businesses. That is so gracious of you. Thank you for buying our Heflingers, our Korans, our Nikes, and all of the other brands you do so adore. Your purchase of these products really make us feel that we are at least giving something back to you for your patronage. After all, in the past, the brands we put on you were quite painful, but those of today can proudly warn because they give you a sense of self-esteem, right? But it's the least we can do for the people who have treated us so well. Your super rich athletes, your entertainers, your intellectuals, your business people, both legal and illegal, exchanged most of their money for our cars, jewelry, homes, and clothing. What a windfall they have provided for us. The less fortunate among you spend all they have at our neighborhood stores, enabling us to open even more stores. Sure, they complain about us, but they never do anything to hurt us economically. You are a very special people. Thank you. Oh yes, allow us to thank you for not bogging yourself down with the business of doing business with your own people. We can take care of that for you. Please don't even trouble yourself with it. Yes, you were very successful at it after slavery ended, and even as recently as 1960. But you know what happened? When you begin to build your own communities and do business with one another, some of the lower ones of our kind burn you out and time again. So why bother? In today's business environment, your own people will not support you anyway. You just keep doing business with us. It's safer that way. Besides, everything you need, we make anyway, even your kente cloth. You just come and continue to dance, sing, fight, get high, go to prison, backbite, envy, and distrust, and hate one another. Have yourself a good time, and this time we'll take care of you. It's the least we can do, considering all you've done for us. Heck, you deserve it, black people. For your labor, we created our wealth. For you resisting the messages of troublemaking blacks like Washington, Delaney, Garvey, Bethune, Tubman, and Truth, for fighting and dying on our battlefields, we thank you. For allowing us to move into your neighborhoods, we will forever be grateful to you. For your unceasing desire to be near us, and for hardly ever following through on your threats due to your lack of reciprocity and equity, we thank you so much. for your labor, which created our wealth. We also appreciate your acquaintance to your political agenda, for advocating your own economics, self-sufficiency, and for working so diligently for the economic well-being of our people. You are real troopers, and even though the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendments were written for you, and many of your relatives died for the rights thereof, you did not resist when we changed those black rights to civil rights and allowed virtually every other group to take advantage of them as well. Black people, you're something else. Your dependence on us to do the right thing is beyond your imagination. Irrespective of what we do to you and the many promises we have made and broken, but this time we will make it right. We promise. Trust us. Tell you what, you don't need to own your own hotels. You can continue to stay in ours. You don't have no need for supermarkets when you can shop at ours 24 hours a day. Why should we even think about owning more banks? We have plenty now. And don't waste your energy trying to break into manufacturing. You work hard enough in our fields. Relax. Have a party. We'll sell you everything you need, and when you die, we'll even bury you at a discount. Now, how is that for gratitude? Finally, the best part. You went beyond the pale to turn your children over to us for their education. With what we have taught them, it's likely they will continue in a mode similar to the one you have followed for the last 45 years. When Mr. Willie Lynch walked the banks of James River in 1712 and said he would make you a slave for 300 years, little did you realize the truth in his prediction. Just 13 more years and his promise will continue, will come to fruition. But with 2 generations of your children gone through our education system, we can look forward to at least another 50 years of prosperity. Wow, things could not be better, and it's all because of black people. For all you have done, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Black Americans, you are the best friends any group of people could ever have. And I read this letter, and it was so cynical, but so much is true. We are the biggest consumers of any group of people in the country. And we always say, on my hood. It's funny because we don't own, I almost said that. We don't own nothing, but yet we always claim about on our hood until we realize that the only way we can truly move as a people, we got to own shoot. We got to own stuff. We got to put our differences aside, and we have to create our own businesses. That's what we got to do, folks. So until we're willing to do that, and until we're willing to step to the plate and be about to change, we're going to always be reacting instead of being proactive. So we want to thank you so much for tuning into the show. My name is Willie Hamilton, and of course this has been Real Talk. Same time, same station. Folks, it's only freedom. Peace.